Good day, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have with us Muslim Rizvi. Came to Canada a couple of actually quite a while back. He'll share with us his experience as well. And without having me to introduce him any further, we'll get started. So, Muslim Bhai, if you can get started by telling us a little bit about yourself first.
Great. Thank you very much, Saad, for having me. I will start from the beginning. So I'm a through and through Karachi guy. Grew up in Karachi, born and raised in Karachi, Nazimabad, Do Number, and Gulshan Iqbal. Went to Habib Public School, Adamji. Went to NED for a bit. I got into mechanical engineering, but it was not for me. And I luckily got admission in BCCI fast. Which now is the National University of Emerging Sciences. I think that's what it's called now. And then I also did my MBA from IBA. Um, I worked for a company called CresSoft in Pakistan, which was at that point one of the largest software exporters, and they were like led by some brilliant, really, really smart guys who were, marketing our services and software in US and doing really well. So I worked in CresSoft. CresSoft transferred me over to Chicago. So I went to Chicago in January of 2000. Lived there for a bit. Then I, switched jobs. Went to Dallas. Lived there for a bit. Worked again for a technology company. And I came to Canada in July of 2003. So it's been quite a long time now. And I started as a business analyst, right? That's uh, was the beginning. And I always knew that, although my background was computer science, my bachelor's was computer science, but I knew that I'm not going to be a programmer. I just didn't have the personality to sit in one place and do this for the rest of my life. I enjoyed the interaction and the people part of it. And I enjoyed the world between business and technology, and the business analyst role kind of gave me that opportunity, right? And was fun. And I think the signs were always there, because if I look back, I think system analysis was my favorite course in the entire Bachelor of Computer Science degree. Uh, so anyway, started off as a BA, and then, came across project management, and I thought that, oh, I can get paid for that because that's who I am. And it's a personality type, right? There's certainly skills, and, your PMP and PMI and all these things are important, but I think that's the skill, that's my personality type, right? As a project manager, I've always been the organizer in family events to friends functions and all this, right? That's who I was. So I thought, yeah, that's just great. And I got into project management, and then there was no looking back. And then, I slowly grew into management, different levels. And, now, I am working for a company called Pivot Tree in Toronto, and I lead the PMO team here.
Amazing journey. So, in your current work that you do in the industry where it is heading out, a little bit about Pivotry, if you want to explain, and where do you see the industry headed in that area?
So I think the technology space is an interesting space, right? So the project management, from all ends of the spectrum, right? We've seen Prince, which was, projects in a controlled environment, to agile, right, and everything in between. So I think project management varies with a lot of different factors. I've been involved with Agile since 2010 when I was in Workopolis, and that's when we first implemented Agile. So I think the organizer is always required, right? There are people who are visionaries and dreamers, and there are people who get things done, right? And I always say there are two types of people, right? One who start things and one who complete things. We are the people.
That's a
And
very nice way to put it, for sure.
yeah, yeah. So, and I think within technology or any space, there's always people like us who are taking these, work with these dreamers, and we take their visions and break it down into something tangible and actually make it happen, right? So I think at Pivot Tree, we have, 5 or 6 different practices now. We do, e-commerce, we do master data, we do cloud, cybersecurity, supply chain, and strategic consulting. So it's a variety of different industries, different tools, different platforms, and we are doing project management across all 6. So it's a pretty exciting role.
Amazing, amazing. One last question, if I could ask you, and that is for all those folks who are coming into Canada recently or are planning to move to Canada, what is your advice over the years that you have learned, which you feel can make a differentiator for them?
Yeah, interesting question. I don't know if I'm qualified to give people advice, but I can tell you what worked for me, right? So I think uh, the one thing that I think I learned from my father is to know that you don't know everything, right? And that keeps you grounded, right? So and I think that's an important thing, right? That humility is an important aspect in growth in anywhere, right? Be it Canada, be it anywhere, right? So that's one. I think number two, uh, you have to understand it's a team sport, right? It's not like I did this, there's no I, right? It's a team sport. So I've always tried to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, right? And who are genuine, right? Genuine, sincere people. And I've been very, very lucky that I found people. And be it, and the titles don't matter. They could be my manager or my peers or in my team. But I try to surround myself with people who can tell me that you're doing this wrong, right? Or can show me the mirror and can show me my blind spots, right? So those genuine, sincere people are really important in anyone's journey, right? So pick your colleagues well. And third, last but not least, right, that when you come to a country like Canada, there's a skill set component, which is, you can learn do PMP, you can learn PMI, go through PMI, or go through Agile or different methodologies. That's one part of it. But I think the cultural understanding and communication is such an important tool, and assimilation into this society, right? And I've noticed in some cases that you come from your country, be it Pakistan, India, whatever country you come from, and you hang out with your own group or own people, and you never learn about other cultures and other people. But when you go to work, there are all different kinds of people, right? And their cultural nuances and all this, and you have to understand that, right? So I think it is important to break out and assimilate, and get involved with other cultures and other people. It will really help you in your career, right? Understanding people's cultures, practices, food. It's such a wonderful thing, right? And if there's one advice I can give you, invite your neighbors for dinner, right? Get to know them, right? And see uh, um, what who they are, what their practices are like, right? And one interesting thing that I noticed between US and Canada, in US the philosophy is melting pot, right? You come in and you become American, right? In Canada, the beauty is that it's a mosaic, right? So you preserve your culture, and that forms a mosaic, and that makes it truly beautiful, and that all combined is Canada, right? So I love that about Canada, that we're not saying that drop your culture. You preserve your culture, but assimilate with the other Canadian society, and your neighbors and your peers and workers, right? So I think that's always helpful in your career and everything that you do.
Amazing. I think some really good insights. With the last message, of course, I think very strongly will resonate with people, and I think they should act on it. Thank you so much for taking the time out today from your busy schedule. And of course, you're a wealth of information that we can have a very long conversation. But at least for this interview, this is where we'll end, and probably follow up with you in the future conversation. So thank you so much for doing this.
Great. Thank you so much, Saad.